All right, I'm here. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be part two of my San Francisco cable car excursion from 2006. This is my first time to San Francisco, and this is extending two other video series I did. First on Caltrain, the second on additional San Francisco transit. These were not taken in. Sorry, the transit stuff was stripped out, so this is going to jump around a little bit. We're actually coming back from my first main ride from the Hyde and Beach back to the Market Street turntable. Then we're going to be heading out down, I think, on the Fisherman's Wharf line, but we'll see where it goes. Let me just sort of get my bearings here real quick. That's not what I need. All right, here we go. And sorry, we had just come down the hill, and let me just see where we are. Oh, this is the T3rd one. Here we go. Here we are at Union Square. This is why I don't like splitting these up, but I kind of have to these days. Last time, some of the major themes were just how much more crowded the cable car is, and also just how fun it is, which is why it's also crowded now these days. I don't know what's up post-COVID, but we will, at least when I was there in 2019, the lines were quite intense. But you heard all that last week, so I'm just trying to get back in the groove of things. So anyway, here we are passing Union Square. It used to be that you could feasibly walk up from the turntable line and catch the cable cars at a Union Square stop. Typically, the cars wouldn't be 100% crush loaded, or if they'd load them to a point where people would sort of settle, and you could often find a spot to hang on to the running board. But you can't really do that now. They often will run without picking any, unless someone specifically gets off after a little bit. You're not going to generally find a way to get on. I'm not even, they don't tend to, I'm not sure what they do, but they do something that you don't get on. All right, we are good to go. And here we are coming up on the, I got to combobulate myself. Here we go. Sort of a pedestrian mall. Back then, I think they just had sort of the do not enter signs. Oh, this doesn't have a picture of it. There's some changes that happened here. Like one of this cross street, I think, is now closed to cars. This is where having my Google Street View pulled up is useful. Yes, this whole the whole terminal end here is. Oops, gotta reload it. Come on, go away. There you go. The whole terminal area is now a pedestrian thing. They put these little pop-up parks on it. But when I was on in 2006, you could still come down here and turn off. And they had like these flashing red stop and proceed lights there. Anyway, sorry, that was a little off the point. This is a pretty bad angle of the turntable. I'd love to see what this is like. Oops, wrong way. I'd love to sort of see what this is. What the guts of that look like if you stripped it all down. How am I doing this? What looks better, that or that? Ugh. Probably that, actually. Oops. But yeah, all I know is that they come on and there's a latch. So they have like they lock in certain configurations. So this is the default. It'll come in. You can see it's got some overrun issues. They like lift the latch that lets them turn it. It locks into the second location. They do like 280 degrees, or sorry, like 300 degrees. Roll the car off, and then they do it the last little bit to reset it. But I'm sure you've seen videos of that happen. And here we've now cut to a different day. I think it's a little sunnier. Yeah, I was having my event was down at the convention center. Some work related conference. So I don't know if I was sneaking out in the morning. I guess this is morning. The conference would start on 9, and I had nothing to do, so I'd get to bed really early. By early, I mean like 11, 10, who knows, something in there. So I had more than enough time to get up in the morning at like 6 o'clock, and ride the cable cars around. Why do I always keep showing up there? So, I'm not sure why I was at Union Square specifically, but I was. Let's move some stuff around here. I've actually stayed, so I've been in an event in this hotel, and I was using like something like a Priceline thing, and I actually got a room once at the Sir Francis Drake across the street. That's a pretty nice place. I'm not all into like fancy hotels, and it's not that fancy. They put me up in some like really high small room, but it was nice because you're up in like the rafter zone with like weird small balcony type things. When the building has like when you're up in the top of the building where it collapses to a small like little like service, like whatever the service area is. All right, that worked. Yeah, so there's your Market Street turntable. Oh, yeah, that's it. What the hell's Union Square? Wait. Oh, that's not it. That's the, there it is. Yeah, we were in the Western St. Whatever. I've been in, I never stayed in that one. I stayed, when I was there, that's always too expensive for me to stay at. Anyway, no, the Sir Francis Drake is here. And when you get, there's a whole bunch of like, not in that room, that's like the penthouse, but there's a lot of little tiny rooms, like sort of in this area and that little wing that are pretty neat because you get these weird balcony angles, and it's very Art Deco-y up there, with like old school drop sash windows and stuff. All right, here we go again. So I think what are we doing here? My comment on this was, I'm moving this in the power line. This is it's like it's a ride that's masquerading as transit, because these steep inclines, especially this, is effectively like a little. I mean, it's not fast like a roller coaster, but it's cool because you're not strapped in. When you start heading up this whatever 30-degree slope, it's pretty fun. I mean, I don't think I have to say that, but it's effectively a ride. Kind of like that stupid Tesla thing in Vegas, that Tesla tunnel. That's a ride too, but this is way more fun and probably less dangerous. Today, this has all been, they've painted it all red. There's this new standard for like, I think that there's like, they want to embrace the bus lane type standard. So they effectively made it a bus lane. It's not like a bus lane. It's like buses don't use it. But it's the same color as a bus lane. I'm not sure how I feel about that. It probably should have gotten its own color. Orange, you know, this is ultimately this hill, and some of the other, specifically probably this hill is probably what kept this whole thing alive, because it would have been very difficult for any sort of internal combustion bus to navigate this level of hill up through like probably the 1950s. Here's where you see the crossing approach signal. So when you're down in that little, before you can let go of the cable in this little area, and you don't come up until you get your streetcar signal right there. So I was mentioning that they don't want to, once you're committed to coming up, you can't really drop the cable. You can, but it's going to become a problem. So they hold them when the tower operator holds the car at the previous block, and then when this signal goes green, that's when they take hold of the cable. They can even fully drop it here, because you can always do a pickup. Normally you can only do a pickup where you have to have like a special area where the cable is low enough to be picked up by the grip. But anytime you're at these sort of like underrunning, like going upwards cable pulleys, those are close enough to the top that I think you can do a let go there, like a full like drop the cable and then pick it back up, like right in there. Looks like this is also a place where you can do a plow change, a grip change if there's a problem. And here we have the famous California crossing, this time in a little bit better sunny conditions. One neat thing, especially on most of these crossings, I don't have a picture of it. No, I don't have a picture of it here because California Street is a bit busy. But if you're on that one, there's a single diamond out by the Cable Car Museum, and there you can look down through the center of the diamond. You can see the cables running over each other. They don't touch. But they're at different heights. You can see them both moving. It's really neat. And any of these cases, especially where you have a large gap, you can see the cable doing its thing. You can hear it too. I mean, I shouldn't have to say that, but it's a very certain places it's louder than others, but it is pretty neat. There's always something going on with it, even if like the cable car isn't there. It's like how you can hear the rails singing before a train gets there, or the overhead catenary starts dancing around and making noise after a passing of a train. I'm sure you could probably rig some sort of GoPro thing to see what, like if you were at one of these, like if you had a California train crossing, you might be able to throw if they were cool, that you could throw a camera down on a GoPro one and watch it go by. There's enough. I think that there's a bunch of videos of cameras they put on the plow. I mean, it's San Francisco, so someone's going to do it. If not, actual Muni is going to be able to do that. Sorry, one second. This should be the right next one. Oh, that's right. There's some bits that are out of order here. Let me just find where that one is. Sorry. There it is. I wanted to mention that the cars have both a front-facing window, but in this case, it's the front-facing window is actually the suboptimal view compared to being able to just directly have your camera out either because you're hanging off the side or you reach around the side from that front seat. If you have some sort of suction cup mounting, putting it on that front window is perfectly fine. But you will occasionally get glare, or the photos are going to look a little soft because you're shooting through the glass. But if you're in that front seat right there where that person is or that guy is, that's what you'll have the option of doing both. If you can't get that seat, the next best thing is to hang off the front right there. So that's going to be your number 2, your second choice. So either one of those sitting seats, and then third choice 3 and 4 is either one of those front-facing grab poles. Also, remember that they've gotten much better, or whatever about people on the grab poles. You can't wear your backpack on your back because it can get hooked on shit and you can get pulled off. So make sure that you have that facing front before you get on, so they don't have to yell at you and you don't delay it. It shows you know what you're doing. So here we come. We're coming down back. Remember, we're heading back out in the opposite direction here on Powell. So here we have 4 cornering at the Jackson Street. I think that's Jackson curve. Let's double check that. There's the California Diamonds and Clay Street. Yeah, Washington Street. So this is a pull curve. That means they come around there at speed of, 7 miles an hour. So that's a pretty exciting place to see them come around, because they're gonna be ringing the bell to warn people. And here we have the junction, the decision point between going to Fisherman's Wharf and going to down the I've forgotten the 2 lines now. I just saw 2 cars with it. Bay Taylor, Fisherman's Wharf, and the junction between that and Hyde and Beach. I knew it was Hyde, but I just want to make sure. So it looks, I think that this is the default position, and the default is going to go to Hyde and Beach. If you're going to be wanting to go to Fisherman's Wharf, the conductor gets out. He then pulls on the spring switch. He maintains pressure on it until he crosses over. So it's also a let go. You're going to let go your cable. I think they let go. I forget which one maintains the cable. Someone gets on a new cable here. I forget which one. It looks like they both have a pickup point. No, the dip. So that means they're going to fully let go of the cable. They're going to glide forward down to the divot. The divot puts them close enough to the cable that they can re-pick it up. And then they're going to head around this pull curve and up to the junk. So this might be the decision point, but the actual split is going to be at one of the. Well, hold on, I don't know my thing. So there's the junction up Jackson, and it's going to be on Mason. So. Here we go. There we go. That looks straight. And just a demonstration. Here we have the conductor applying some force to the spring switch. I don't think they've heaved over yet. So unfortunately, I didn't quite snap this photo at the right time. Probably would have been better to get them in a non-reverse position. There we go. That's the first round done. Gonna have a slightly shorter set today. Just double checking so I don't have to backtrack. There we go. And while we're waiting for that, let's see if we have any things. Any comments, anyone? All right. Hope you're liking it. This is for Brian. Brian Monroe. There, he used to live in San Francisco, I believe. Last time I had a lot of people watch. You know what? It's this Friday night time slot. Although I'm usually, I guess people go out on Fridays a lot. I'm going on the 2102 excursion tomorrow. I'd ask if anyone was going to be there, but I know that the two people watching probably aren't. Oh, here we have another one of those long frogs. As the flanges on the inside. This is the outside rail is going to be for the Fisherman's Wharf, and this rail is going to be for the whatever. And they travel in this configuration all the way to this point. Then they have this weird reverse thing. I don't know why they do it that way, but they do. Huh? Oh, I'm missing a thing here. Huh. Be 66, I think. I might have. Oh, there it is. Let's see what this was. Okay, I guess that was one I did earlier. I knew these are a little out of, okay, I know which one that is. No, wait. Where would this have been? Power line 5. Well, that's strange. It's like I'm missing one. Oh, there it is. Oh, that's the problem. I didn't finish doing that yet. Derp. Okay, here we go. So here I have it. Again, we have this is the weird double pull curve. Inside's going to the beach. Outside's going to Fisherman's Wharf. The center joint rail. Oh, that's why they do it that way and have that frog. It's because they can get away with having one rail. But normally if they kept it in the same orientation, you'd have a rail with you'd have two rails in a single flange way. By keeping them separate like this, you can have one rail and two flange ways, which is a little cheaper, I guess. So that's why they do it. Oops. Here we are coming up with the double girder rail here in the middle of Jackson Street. Must be fun to live in these houses with a cable car going by all the time. Okay. And here we have the frog, the super frog. Let's even this out. Uh, yep. You see, sometimes I figure stuff out halfway through the presentation of why things are the way they are. There we go. And let's see what I get next. I remember once. Here's an anecdote. Right here, we were coming around, and I realized I just left. I was with my dad, and we had just eaten lunch, and we caught the cable car heading out. So a lot of people will just take the cable car up, so you will start seeing some spaces to catch the car. And this is in 2014. I got to right here, I realized I left my camera at the restaurant, so we pulled up. Fortunately, we had one full. We had the expensive cable car passports, so I just popped off and booked it. I told my dad to wait, and I booked it all the way back down the hill to go get my camera. It was there. It was fine. Here we have on the double track. Now we are. So Mason is where. I gotta pull that up again. This is where if there's a single diamond here, and this is where there's not so much street traffic that you can get out and inspect it. And another neat bit is that the cable is running. The pull cable is the Jackson Street, the one to Beach, and the cable right there. You can't see it. It's right. There's a diamond there. A single track diamond, and on the other side the cable is practically right at the base of the slot. You can touch it. It's just there because of the way there's not enough pulleys to keep it down below the area, and that's the place you can best observe how the cable works. Right here at the corner of Mason and Jackson. All right, now we're heading back towards Fisherman's Wharf on the double track. Is it Powell-Mason line? At Pacific Street. What if they have an Atlantic Street? Probably somewhere. Oh, cool, we have a turn back. Again, this is designed. It's one of the, yeah. See, this is so weird. It's like, okay, the car can't actively go in the other direction, but it can cut back, and I guess gets towed back, probably. These are definitely also popular on single direction type ABS or single direction streetcar lines. Let's have some San Francisco whatever here. This is called Hill Park. If we want to orient ourselves. Nope. Wait, why am I in Philly? Hold on. There's Powell, Mason. I bet I misnamed that park. I don't think I actually knew the name of that park, and I winged it. Is that it? Yeah. I guess I pulled a zoom there. All right, I'm going to actually get the real name of this park. All right, that's what it's called. Sorry about this. Sometimes you get weird. You've got to make weird corrections, and this isn't rail related. There we go. Moving along. Mason and Union. It's nice to have these very prominent street signs. Makes it a lot easier for me to locate stuff naturally. Most cities don't tend to have stuff like this, especially well in advance of the intersections. I think a lot of people, due to the lines these days, they don't tend to wait. They'll just get on the first thing. They'll either go to Fisherman's Wharf or they'll go to Beach, and they'll walk between the two. I have a definite feeling that the Hyde and Beach is more popular for people to return on, because you get that guaranteed Lombard. Now, there's a surprising amount of hill on this side of things too. I guess you're going down to practically sea level, so. No car chases broke out when I was riding this time, but I heard that they do happen. So that's always another neat thing when you're in San Francisco. Trolley bus on the 41 line. I think this is one of those older. I don't know their trolley bus fleet. I'm not sure. There's ones they still have. There's ones they just recently retired. Nah, these look somewhat modern. I bet they're still going on. Let's see. Is it next? Cool. Let's see what street this is. Need to find which one has trolley buses on it. There it is. Oh, I can just look this way. Okay, well, there's your trolley bus wire, right? Or not? Oh, here's a fun thing. Fun factoid, a San Francisco factoid. Trying to figure if the trolley bus was at Union or... There it is, it's at Union. Fun fact, San Francisco still has DC service for residences, but it is no longer centrally generated. It used to be distributed. It's sort of like New York City. They basically went to every last DC customer, which was a bunch of buildings, and they told them, all right, because a lot of them needed them for elevators and other heavy equipment that's going to be hard to replace. And sometime in the 2000s, Con Ed eventually went around and was telling them, okay, we're just going to give you a rectifier in your basement. San Francisco didn't do that. They instead, this is sort of more residential, maybe for elevators, but not really because you don't have the apartment buildings here. They just went and installed small rectifiers at like the block level, and then that would run a string of they cut the bigger grid, and they subdivided it, fed from local rectifiers. I forget if it's going to be a 24 or 48 volt system. People would mention in New York City there was a lot of situations that even though the DC voltage was a lot lower, plugging a lot of people, even up through the 50s, people who lived in DC buildings had to buy DC appliances that they would sell. Like everything, I mean, how many appliances could you have back then? But you would, from if you had electric kettles or radios or all that stuff, you'd have to get DC. And apparently, if you plugged in certain AC devices, even though the voltage was lower, it was designed to operate with a lot more current. I don't know what it was, but there was something that DC could fry the heck out of stuff, and you wouldn't think it would. I have to verify that story or the context or something about that. It doesn't. Something sounds fishy, but I heard something. I mean, there's definitely something about that. But in more modern times, the DC system in New York was only for elevators and such. I should look up on the on San Francisco's DC grid. All right, we're coming up. Oh, I forgot to resize this. There we go. Cool. Number 28 passing here. We're about to make the long sweeping curve onto Columbus Ave. We're only on that for a couple blocks though till back on Taylor Street. Bay Taylor is the terminal. That's what you'll sometimes see on those things. It's like sometimes it's referred to as Bay Taylor, sometimes it's Fishman Wharf, sometimes it's the Mason line. There's a lot of different ways to refer to these, to refer to the route here. Okay, on the Columbus turn. And here we have another trolley bus. Oops, hit the scan utility. What is it? It's Columbus at Mason. And we're at the end of the zone. Getting close here. Double check I got everything. Yeah, that's it. So this is gonna be like one more long set, and then that'll be it. So this will be a pretty long set here. But let's see what we got going in the chat. Okay, not much. I could do a quick thing here. Oh, cool. There's a bunch of stories that have popped up over the news. San Francisco's DC grid, the last direct current power lines. Oh no. Interesting. They're getting rid of them. Yeah. Oh wait, whatever. I'm not signing in to do a thing. Go away. Hold on one second. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, they're just linking to the IEEE article. Yeah, I'm not going to sign up for that now, but you can go read about the DC grid. It looks like they were doing something with turning it off, but I'm not sure. But anyway, just thought I'd check up on that. Okay. I didn't take anything coming into the terminal, I guess. Remember, I was limited in terms of photos, so I guess it was sort of boring. I wasn't going to take a lot. I wasn't going to deal with it. It's always neat when you sort of get down to the end of these things. They always have the queue of so when the streetcars, the cable cars pull in, the crews are going to go take a crew break. So they'll have a bunch here in the queue, and then they'll filter, how many they take a break for X numbers of headways. Then they're back going again. And there's a couple of odd painted cars, and the typical. Wait, what am I doing? Okay, this is what I want. There we go. Here we have number 3 is there's another turntable, a shutout track. Here we have after they turn, they wait at the bus shelter. No line, no waiting. No one's doing anything on these. I don't know what the backbound for the Fisherman's Wharf, the Bay Taylor trains is, but because I know that the Hyde Beach gets crowded. They have line control there. I do not know how bad Bay Taylor gets these days. Just a typical picture of Alcatraz. I did the tour. They have something called the Sunset Tour that I highly recommend. I don't 100% know if they're doing it now, but there's the usual. You go out there, but I forget if you have to pay more or you just have to book farther in advance. There's another one where you go out literally at sunset and you stay around and you leave when it's dark. And then I know they have overnight things there and a bunch of other stuff. It's a neat tour. I would definitely recommend it. What people don't tend to notice in that, this is terrible. I gotta what people don't tend to realize is that it was always a very small facility. It was kind of like the Supermax. That's what it was intended for. The one they have out in wherever East Bumblefuck, Indiana or whatnot. It only has like 100 people, but it's super expensive, etc. This was sort of the same way, and the main complex had an original like prison part of it that they expanded, and there's like they only had 2 cell blocks, and they're in the same room. And there's 2 cell blocks that were modernized in the 20s or 30s. That has the cool thing with the automatic doors with the levers. I think there's this one block that they never modernized. They didn't use. It's strap iron Civil War era. So they only had like 2. I think it's 3. It's like 2 blocks of cells, 3 tiers. And it did not have a lot of people out there. And supporting it was ridiculously expensive. That's why it closed in the 60s. After you started getting a whole bunch of escapes, they're like, this is stupid. All right, sorry, that was a little off topic. Oh, cool. Neat. The little go-kart rentals. I don't even know where this is. Let's figure this out. This is coming down on the Hyde. Where is this? Yeah, this is coming down on the Hyde Beach. I guess I took another ride. Hey, we got some more people watching. So, like I said, I was limited in photos. I did 2 runs, and now I'm just doing, like, I guess, by the way, you can see the glare here from that window. So I wasn't taking a picture outside the box. I was inside the box. So that's why I recommend outside the box will look better. And here we have number 22. I think I was on 22 there. It's stunning in 2006 how few people are on these. While San Francisco was definitely popular, you're still in that a little. Oh wait, Wait. Oh, hold on, hold on. Oh, sorry. Yeah, this is where things are out of whack again. You're still in that .com bubble, .com bust. A little bit of that. Your pre housing crisis. I had someone actually, a friend of my mom's was encouraging me to buy a house in San Francisco. I mean, if I had, like, sure, but I had nothing to do out there. This is the guy who bought back in like the '60s, so he's set for life. That's the flight attendant dude the house is mainly empty because he doesn't want to deal with renters because that was too much of a pain with all the city's regulations. But I already went into that before. But it's still this is like this is morning. You can tell the light is low, the shadows are long, but and a lot of people do get off at Lombard. If you wait in that line and you're in an early thing, even at about 8 or 9 o'clock, half the train will discharge at Lombard, and they kind of maybe they just come back from there. But as the day goes on, a lot more people have done lunch or dinner at Fisherman's Wharf. So maybe this is to be expected. They don't have a lot of people early in the morning at Fisherman's Wharf. I mean, whatever the termini are. There we go. And here I am back at Lombard. What did I do with this? Okay, this is the out of order problem. Alcatraz. Here we go. Not a very good photo. Kind of crappy weather. I guess the sun. Yeah, San Francisco is definitely subject to cloud over without much notice. Sorry. Oh man, these dark. I forget if there's more signage or more stuff up there these days. I forget. Took 2 pictures because tourist trap. I don't think I got off, so I'm sitting on that bench, and I took 2 pictures because it's sort of moving. So there you go. Again, not a lot of people there. Here's an outbound, on the Hyde Beach. And you can definitely tell that even in this part of the morning, traffic's picking up. But, sign. See, and I call this crowded. It's not that crowded. Compared to today. Yeah. The crowds will come. It's just how early in the morning do you have to get up to not wait 40 minutes to get on the cable car? Feel free to, if anyone in chat knows, let me know what it is like. And I don't mean like what it was 2 years ago. I mean like what it is literally like now in 2022. If you've been on them at a variety of times or any time actually. Back to you can definitely tell that I'm really saving my photos. I only had 3 cards and with 96 photos each, and 1 card with like an emergency card with like 12. And that was for everything. That was for Caltrain. That was for the transit. So I'm really hitting the bottom of the barrel. Like, there's a reason. I did not have. I suddenly, after I do my surveys, I didn't do any more photos except for interesting things like the tower here at the California Diamonds. Reminds me of like freaking California raisins. Let's see here. I notice we've got the clear signal indication. Whatever. I have a lot more photos of this area and later ones, so I don't need to really care about this stuff. This is my best attempt to take a picture of one of the diamonds. Again, I don't know what supports all these pieces. Like, there's got to be crazy underpinnings to all these things. Like, I don't know how they do it. If those are little concrete islands that go all the way down, are they on stilts? Is this all open underneath? No idea. Next. And I think that I knew that this was going to be my last. This might have been the last day of the event. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was. So I think that I was just doing some fun ones. Like, if you notice, I think on my other ones I'd been sitting in that seat. So I really wanted to do one on the hang pole, on the running boards. So that's why I'm doing it. And I think that why I'm also intentionally putting my hand in all these photos, just so you know, me and anyone who saw them would be aware that I was on the running board. It's one of those things you don't think about when you're first there. You don't think about getting on the running board until you're like, oh, I should try that, and you're like, damn, this is way more fun. It's a little impractical. You should give everybody a high five when you pass the opposing car. I don't care. I mean, the crew doesn't care. Like, it's not. You can't not do it. But the only thing stopping you is your own sense of shame. But I fully support the high five on when you pass cable cars. You know, put it right, throw it right out there. You be the leader. It's not. I mean, you don't know the line weights. You know, that's the thing, is ridership info is not going to necessarily tell you line weights. It's one of those things where it's like, you know, you have a capacity. I don't know. It's like how people show up to ride is going to influence the whatever. You can have a lot of people, but if they do it at certain, if they do it in a certain way, you might not have the lines at a whatever. Not as bad as Disney though. All right, coming into the cable car terminal. Yeah, I looked at probably how many photos I had left and was just like, I'm just gonna have a super. I wonder if this is. I think it's morning. I definitely think it's morning. I forget what time my flight was this day, or maybe this was the next morning after the event was over, and I was just, I bet I had a flight out, and I was just doing stuff. I did an early morning transit, and then I went and caught the flight. That's probably what I did. And here we are at the end of the thing. Don't know if I was on 27 or not. The 80s vibe with the red brick of the terminal is nice. I was watching a Dead Mall video where someone was commenting on the Philadelphia Gallery Mall for the parts that are still in the transit zone. When they redid the mall, all that 80s stuff got torn out, but the transit parts that the mall used to be connected to still have the original 80s type decor with the red brick and the globe lights and all the other stuff. And the semi-brutalism. All right, one more non-Muni thing here. What? Why is it? Oh, this is a Brooklyn car. This looks like... I put a note here for Bob Diamond, the guy who recently passed away that was trying to start up that trolley line in Red Hook for all those years. It's kind of a shame what happened with him. He was one of those people that had vision, but he was abrasive. So he would do all the stuff, but he pissed off so many people he could never get his... he could never really... He had the energy to do his dream, but he just would piss off everyone, and then they would work at cross purposes, and the trolley is still there. It was always going to get scrapped or something, but it's still there, and it's become it's become cared for. I'm not sure where this is though. Oh, I know where this is. This is by the theater across from the hotel that my friend bitched and moaned at me that I picked for him years later. Let's have a quick aside before we finish up here on the hotel that I used to pick. And so I'm frugal. I mean, because my parents were, and I also have a job that had pretty strong you had a budget, and per diem. So and you can get it pretty easily approved to do more, but I'm not going to go and I don't need it. Like, I'm traveling by myself. I don't need this. I just found the closest place that was in per diem. It was the Hotel Whitcomb. Hotel is perfectly fine. I mean, at least at the time, and this is, now San Francisco's all whatever issues, but like, dude, Market Street was always pretty seedy. I don't know why, you with all the real estate shit, like, why do they have boarded up buildings? Buy them and put something in it. Seriously. But anyway, this is, wasn't the most severe. The people who were homeless then, really they had issues. Not today, where they just don't. You could be homeless for all sorts of reasons. Even having with only having 3 jobs instead of 5 jobs. But back then, you kind of had to work at it. And I stayed down here, and I had no problems with it. But when a couple years later, I took my friend. Like, he tagged along on my trip, and he was just like apoplectic that I picked this hotel. It's just he's not like a person who's like can't do a city or is super racist or anything. But he was just like, dude, this hotel is terrible. I'm like, what do you mean it's terrible? It has a bed. It's not actively on fire. There are no bugs. There's no this. There's no that. But he was like, do you know seedy? He was just, his whole point was like, it's super seedy outside, etc., etc. And the reason I knew that this photo was from 8th Street was because it's outside the theater. And the reason I was able to instantly pick up on the theater was because the one time we did go there, we at least did notice that Wicked was playing, and there were tickets available, and he wanted to go see it. And I was just like, I don't know. I've had a bad... I don't watch a lot of Broadway, but I've seen both Broadway shows on Broadway, and I've seen the same shows off Broadway, and you generally don't want to see Broadway shows off Broadway. Like, I saw Phantom of the Opera, and like that's a easy show to get right. It's been around for forever. I saw it in Toronto, and it was bad. No, it wasn't. Listen, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't the same as it was on Broadway. It's a traveling show. That's part of it, because the traveling show is going to have a different setup than the resident show. That's probably the biggest issue. And you're gonna, you have a cast that is going to be a rung below the resident cast. You're going to have a setup that's meant to travel, and everything here at the Orpheum, whatever it is, looks like they're doing Peter Pan here in May, in 2006. It is not going to be what you can see in New York, and I can get to New York easily. I mean, even today, I don't know, what shows cost these days. The top ones are a lot, but the other ones are not so. But just see it. Just try to see it in New York. Now, of course, Wicked was just traveling. I'm not even sure it was still on Broadway, etc., etc. Maybe I'll wait for a revival. It did. I think it won a bunch of awards, but that was my only point. Unless you're dealing with something that you can't see on Broadway, like Hamilton, or you live too far away, definitely you're going to see your better shows on Broadway. Sorry for this long ramble here, but just a fun thing of, I probably should have seen Wicked, though we haven't had a chance to, but I don't know. I think we have better things to do. Don't fly across the country to go see a Broadway show, and don't go to San Francisco to see a Broadway show. That's a story there. Jesus Christ, this is totally not. I don't even know what flight I was on. I think I was flying United. In fact, I'm almost sure I was. I gotta find United Airlines' code now. I don't fly you. I mean, I'm almost entirely a Southwest person, but I got it in there. I think it's UAL. Wait. UA or UAL? All right, what's Southwest? Okay, I'm going to be using the 3-digit UAL. Just took a picture out the plane window going over the Sierra Nevadas, blah, yada, yada, yada. Looks nice. I need to get how to spell Sierra Nevada. There we go. Wow, they're covered in snow in May. That doesn't happen anymore. South eastbound. Oh, no, I need to do, that's not right. First off, I can make this more quality. Wow, it is crazy that, seeing the Sierra Nevadas with that much snow cover in May is just downright never happens anymore. And they were into that drought too. I mean, that mega drought's been going on since about 2001. Southeastward. There you go. And I got one more. This would be, I guess, southwestward. Cool. Nice. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to be on that 2102 trip tomorrow, and I doubt anyone's going to be there. But if you are, you can get to my Twitter through my YouTube page and send me a ping. I got to put a tweet out on that anyway. Have everybody have a great day. Thank you for joining me. Sorry I was not around yesterday. I just got in too late. Couldn't really spare the time. I will be back next week. I will do something. I'm going to be up for the opening day of the Wawa station in Philly. That's going to be on Sunday morning, and I will be streaming on Saturday night. That's going to be Saturday the 20th, same time. Unless something weird happens, like they cancel service or something, I'll be up. So I'll find something to do, and then the next time I'll be up will be, I was gonna say the 28th, but I'm not gonna be able to stream. So it's gonna be at some point in the future, probably the weekend of September 9th. So, all right, thank you so much. I'm gonna go check out what's going on in the questions here. Any questions? The date and time. No, I know when the photo was shot. It was in this trip. It was simply, I need to figure out what airline I was on, because I always label my airline photos from the air with the airline that I'm on at the time. It's just the easiest way, as opposed to trying to figure out what state or town you're in. So that's why I was trying to get the U.S. the whatever. Yep, dead ball stuff is good. All right, everybody, any questions? Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful day. You heard the schedule. See ya, and stay safe.